Radio Free Cybertron.
Transformers.
Rewind.
This week on Transformers Rewind, it's Triple Takeover, where we learn why Megatron is the boss.
Nice work, Astral Train!
But one head does not belong.
Yes, Blitzwing, one head has failed to lead us to victory over the Autobots!
But this mistake will be corrected.
As soon.
Starscream, Blitzwing, and Astro Train conspire to overthrow Megatron and take over the Decepticons themselves. As Starscream leads Megatron into a trap, he's betrayed by the Triple Changers as well, who then each set out to start building their own power bases.
A secret Autobot power station in a sewer?
Straight ahead, Megatron!
We'll need reinforcements.
Reinforcements? This is our mission, Megatron. We don't need to share the glory. Unless Megatron is afraid.
Megatron knows no fear. You have failed again, Starscream! It's a trap! Kill! 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 A battle simulation arena. An excellent base for Blitzwing headquarters.
Track 9 shows an unscheduled train. And there's no engineer!
I declare this to be Astro Train headquarters.
That's it! I'm retiring! Now! Run! Help! Run for your lives!
Astro Train takes over a train yard and gets right to work upgrading a bunch of locomotives with computer controls so he can have them steal all of the world's energy and resources as long as they're attached directly to railroad tracks. And when he tries to show the other Decepticons all the cool tricks he taught his pet trains, one of them ruptures a water line and floods the city. Whoops! Meanwhile, Blitzwing has invaded a football stadium and conscripted the coach as his second-in-command. Blitzwing has also made a deal with the Constructicons to trade part of the Decepticon leadership for skilled labor, and he tasks them with building a highway maze for zone defense while he fires randomly into the city as part of a long bomb strategy. Also, the Autobots show up out of contractual obligation, and Blitzwing manages to kill 4 of them. They'll get better later.
Wait for me!
So, you know, people talk about things like the giant purple griffin to point out why Megatron is this awful, ineffective leader. But I think an episode like this really proves how everybody under his command is so much worse at the job.
I mean,
Yeah.
it depends on. I mean, I guess it depends on how you define worse. Yeah, in general. I mean, I think what comes out is again what happens a lot with the Decepticons when you don't have like a really powerful leader up front, which is the internal power struggles. I mean, essentially, this all breaks down into internal power struggles with other, even with Astro Train, more Decepticons show up, and he just becomes a mockery. With Blitzwing, he ends up getting into this huge back and forth with the Constructicons, and that goes poorly as well. So,
and then there's drop football coach.
Yeah, it's basically a dictatorship sort of mentality where it's like if you don't have when you have a power vacuum, the smaller group, the smaller leaders are going to try to fight for that power, and then that's essentially what happens here. I mean, it just doesn't go very well. Although I will say, this episode is terribly violent.
It is violent. It makes me want Blitzwing as a leader more, because he is like a killing machine, clearly.
Yeah.
Well, on the other hand, he was up against Skids.
I guess, but like in half a day, he has like a body count, so that can't all be bad.
And I mean, and probably one of the most violent lines of like the first 2 seasons of G1, where he tells the football coach to, tell me what's on your mind, or else I'll splatter your brains all over the wall and see for myself.
Yes.
It's like, oh my god!
It was pretty awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then like, I'm gonna throw you in this locker while I go kill 4 Autobots again.
Yeah, and
I think 2 of them, he like grinded on top of them. I think he like ran over them.
Ran over them, flattened them completely. Then Scavenger built them into a throne.
Yeah.
Yes, that was awesome.
Very morbid.
Yeah, I think that throne was essentially like Prowl's corpse. Just I guess Prowl with rigor mortis or whatever they have. Essentially, it was like my throne is sitting in Prowl's dead lap. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was Prowl, Track, Skids, and Blue Streak.
Right.
Nice.
Of course, there probably couldn't have been
nice.
much of Blue Streak, since Blue Streak basically exploded when Blitzwing ran into him.
Yeah.
I mean, this was just like, I was rewatching, I was like, I don't remember it being this violent, but wow, it really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember watching that sequence on the like Mixmaster Highway thing, thinking, I think after the first kill, I was like, oh my god, I think you could like interpret that as death. And then he like outright destroys the next 3, and I'm like, oh, they're dead. So we're playing the death card. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. So it's like the first death, ambiguous. Second, we're like, R-rated horror movie, complete destruction.
Well, no, it's okay though, because by the end of the episode, they were recovered enough to willingly form a new throne for Optimus Prime to sit on.
Which was even creepier.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, we'll turn into a death throne for you, Optimus. Thankfully, Optimus is like, no, that's creepy, guys. Don't do that.
I'm thinking they may have suffered some brain damage in the process.
I don't know how you would tell the difference.
Perhaps. I guess Astro Train deserves a little bit of time, too. He somehow reprogrammed those trains using Earth technology.
The Astro Force?
Yeah, he took I don't know, a hard drive out of the train station, put it into the trains, and then they were somewhat intelligent, I think, like R2 kind of.
Yeah. Like
they made noises and like I guess as smart as a dog, maybe a Labrador. I don't know.
I don't know if I would.
That's kind of how I was looking at it too. He built himself some pet trains to go fetch him, oil and energon and whatever, as long as it is attached to a railroad track.
I guess that was more plausible than building pet space shuttles. So.
Well, that's another thing with this episode. It's probably like the most time Astro Train has spent as a train in all of the show.
Yeah, because his job is normally, hey, we need to go somewhere, turn into a shuttle.
Yep. He's the transporter.
We want to take a scenic ride through Vermont. Turn into a train. You don't hear that a lot.
Yeah.
It's much more. It's much more valuable to turn into the spacefaring vehicle.
Yeah, it was awful nice for Trailbreaker to show up to, cast some force fields. So.
Okay, well let's talk about that. So the city's flooding, apparently up to like the 20th story, and Power Glide flies by and notices Trailbreaker just chilling out on a roof somewhere.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Well, what else is he gonna do? He's just got all he has to do is.
It's not like he can do anything else.
He's just waiting around for someone to need a force field.
Right.
Yeah.
It's funny watching this though. It seemed like there was like a lot of heavy editing on the episode to fit it into the time, because a lot of the Autobot involvement seems really disjointed.
Do you think like this was originally like maybe a 2-part or something that got cut down?
Oh, I hope not.
Well, I mean, wouldn't that explain the opening sequence? Was there any like context to Starscream and the Triple Changers making that Rushmore?
That is a good point.
They were just doing it just to do it.
You're just leading. Yeah, I mean, like I guess they were vandalizing a mountain, and they just decided that was, you know, hey, that's the setup to our next wacky adventure.
And the plot between Starscream and the Triple Changers is almost implied more so than it is, place. Like there's no kind of lead to it.
Reed is doing, which is they're carving their 3 faces and Megatron's face on that cliff to represent the leadership of the Decepticons, or at least what will be the leadership of the Decepticons once they cleverly overthrow Megatron by freezing him in a sewer.
Right.
Which ends up freezing Starscream as well, although he does seem to have some sort of, power of being in the episode, even though he was froze.
Yeah, he didn't freeze as fast as Megatron, so maybe he's tougher in some way, I guess.
My problem with this, he's a plane, so he has anti-icing technology.
What it is. God, what is it, 1999 now? Jeez. Like, let's come up with a reason.
No, my problem with the whole plan to take Megatron down, though, is that even in the best of circumstances, freezing him to absolute zero, eventually he's going to thaw out.
No, I love the concept of absolute zero molecules.
It's more
do you remember in the Ultimate Doom when somebody decided to polarize their windshield to repel rain and hail molecules?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, obviously, Cybertronian science is so much farther advanced over ours that they've identified that specific kinds of molecules make up rain and ice, even though they are basically just composed of water.
Yeah. I love writers. It's for kids. They won't know the difference.
Didn't have Google back then.
Right, that's got to be it.
Or Wikipedia.
Or encyclopedias. Or libraries. Or a television. I don't know.
I like the end of the episode, though, with the fight between all of the Decepticon quote-unquote leaders in the football stadium.
Yeah, which is everybody at this point.
Yeah,
and the fact that Prime says he never gets involved with domestic disputes, although that's exactly what the whole episode is one big domestic dispute.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
that's why the Autobot part seems really tacked on, because they don't really do anything except to stand around and watch and kind of facilitate the infighting.